Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian report for the 5th of July, starting with the ASX on the daily chart here. So we've been counting from this low over here. So we've got wave 1 in orange and wave 2 here in orange, minor degree, and wave 3 and 4 here. And we've got 5 waves in this little sequence here. So we're calling this wave 1 here and this wave 2 here. And we should be pushing up for wave 3 here now. So let's go in and have a look at where we are. So on the 4-hour chart here, we've been counting 1 and 2 here, and we've got a nice third wave in here, nice fourth wave here, nice fifth wave here. We've got a nice A, B, and C here. It didn't pull back to the 50-60% retracement level that we had down through here, but at the same time we've taken all the right logical steps, and we are currently long in this trend moving up here. We've made a new high here, so we should continue to move to the upside here. In terms of the trading levels here, the next important level is the 6,800 here. This level here is important. As I say before, 600 is important, 700 is important, but the 650 is more important. It just seems to end up being a balance line for the correction that occurs between 6 and 7. But it's also the halfway mark between the Fibonacci numbers 5 and 8 here. So yeah, I mean, it's all a bit of a mystery anyway, but it just seems to work a lot. So it's always worth, I call it a 65 number, just seems to play out nicely, and it's usable because we can see through here that the correction was coming down through here, and then it sort of became, this balance line became the support here for this. Let's go in and check on the hourly chart. So on the hourly chart, if we look at wave 1 here and wave 2 here, we'd been counting up as wave 1 and wave 2 here. Bit of a dodgy wave 1 here, but 1 and 2, and nice strong third wave, fourth wave, and fifth wave. It's all intact, and then we've got a little A and B and C in here for wave 2. So this little move up here would be wave 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4. And I think wave 5 is just up here for wave 3, and then we'll have ABC for wave 4 here. But it's also possible that it was a little bit difficult for me to count this in through here on the 20 tick chart, but it's possible that this wave, if I just copy that here, that this wave 3 and this wave 4 is yet to come in here. If this wave 4 pulls back here, it will pull back to the 38.2%, which is roughly where it is here. So if I take the low of this one here and put that there, the 38.2% is there. So that's why we'll just keep the stop here. I'll just even move that out the way a little bit further, just moving it out the way here. If this top is breached here, let me just move this here. If this top here of the third wave here, this one here, is breached here, just a little breach here, then we know that this is the third wave up here, and then we'll look for this ABC correction from that point. And in that case there, we'd look at this in terms of a 38.2% retracement to roughly this point here, or back into this place here. But Friday is normally the bullish day in the bullish weekly cycle, so I think we're on track here for further upside. But yeah, definitely further upside for this particular trend here. So from this blue wave 2 here, we're looking at 1 and 2 here. We'll be looking at 3, then 4, and then 5, moving to the upside. The 6-8 is important, as you know. We call it a profit-taking number. So there'll definitely be corrective moves there. And then the rest of it is just basically stepping up through the sub-levels here. So if I just remove that for a moment, from 7 to to 8 here, we know that we have 1, 2, and 3 as group 1. And if we get a tested support on top of group 1, and that's what it's trying to do now, so that's why you could buy new highs here if you wanted to. So we'll put that in here. But there will be corrective moves at 50 for this here. Okay. After that, then the market will push up higher from that point. Yeah, support on top of 3 here will take us to the midpoint, and support on the midpoint will take us up into group 2, the normal process for moving higher. I don't think the 100 tick chart's going to tell us much difference here. Just looking at it here. Yeah, just from wave 2 here, we're looking at little 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and this is where it gets a little bit sort of tricky. And here on the 20 tick chart, it's a little bit messier as well, but I think we're still heading a little bit high. But as you can see here, this is number 3 here, the 630. When you look at that, you could say to yourself, well, it's not sitting on top of all this correction here. Is not sitting on top of 3, it's sitting on top of 2, isn't it? So yeah, what we want to do is be sitting on top of 3 there. And it takes a little while because I can't draw on this side, I have to draw on this side. So, it needs to, it's come up and hit it, and it's mucked around with it and so on. That needs to pop up there, and then it will come back and test it once it's done that, and then then move up from that point. You can get the breakout here, but it will come back and test your entry wherever your entry was. So it doesn't matter what you do, as long as you know what you're doing, and that way you can accommodate what you need to accommodate as such. I'll have a quick look at, we've looked at it before. In fact, let's just have a look at the monthly chart here for a moment. We must be coming pretty close to this high here. Don't worry about the wave count here. So we're coming pretty close to that high here, by the way. So that's at 6,850. So yeah, so I don't know, just another reason, I guess, for a bit of consolidation there. The other point here too is that double tops are never the end of a trend. So even though it may correct from here, this particular count that I've got here may be correct, it may not be correct. I've got other counts for this, but I'm not worried about it too much. I'm just going to play with what I know, but I know that this won't be the end of it, so there's still higher to go here. On the weekly chart here, I think I've been playing around with a couple of different counts here. So having wave 3 up here, wave 4 for the GFC here, having this as wave 1 here and wave 2 here of 1 degree, then up here again as wave 1 of the next degree smaller, and then wave 2 here, and then all of this move here as wave 1 and 2 here. So, and then pushing up, so we're in a third of a third of a third here, pushing higher through here. So, but don't worry about the count too much. We just got to take step by step with what I know. This is all just a guessing game here. But some other interesting points too is that when we look at BHP, for instance, here, and I'm not sure of this count either, but what I am sure of is that the move from here down through here is in 3 waves here. This wave, there's not enough data on this particular chart here, but this is the 61.8% retracement level from the very early 80s, 81 I think it was. So yeah, all the way up from the 80s as 1 and ABC back for 2, but it could also be wave 4 here as well. I'm not bothered about that, but what I do want to point out to you is that we'll be taking out these highs here. That's the interesting thing in my little tiny mind. Yeah, let's just have a little look at where that retracement level is here. So that's the 61.8% here. So if this was going to fail, it would have failed in this first space here, you know, for a larger ABC, like an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. But this is all impulsive work here. So, you know, we're in a bullish market here. So that's that. And we're also too, we'll look at CBA as well. You find that for us for a moment. This is CBA here, so this is the bigger picture here for CBA as well. So this was the GFC down here. And we've always looked at this as wave 1 and 2 here, and wave 3 up here, an A and a B and a C here for wave 4. As you know, I've struggled with wave C here in lots of different ways. So this top, what I'm trying to say is this top here needs to be taken out as well. You know, so it's still a long way to go here. It's just a matter of finding a way in here at the moment with this. And I'm not sure if this is right here with wave 1 and wave 2 here, and wave 1 and 2 here, and we're going into this big third wave. Certainly could be on the cards here. What I can say for sure is that we do have 5 waves moving up to this point here. So going long above this top here would be the right thing to do. And I'll just put that in green there, not that we normally put them on this degree of structure. But what I was thinking here is that there's a couple of ways to count this up here, but taking that top out there would be a surefire way of moving higher from that point. But I was thinking that we would see an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave here, and then move up from that point. So I'm trying to get us in on this little move back in here. So if I go to the hourly chart just to have a look at that top here, I haven't updated this for a while, and we don't have to worry about that wave 3 or 4 there. My interest here is simply that if this top here is breached, we can go long, but I was thinking, as I just mentioned, that we'd be looking down. Here's an A wave, back for a B wave, and down for a C wave here. And then what that would do is probably not the case, but then we can get a better level in at this particular stage here. Or even possibly even lower at this point. So I just want to wait a second for this, but if you think about moving into this market, then this top here is the one that would confirm that we're actually moving higher. I'll just find, this is, this low at 65 here can be counted as an A wave here, B wave here, and then 5 waves up for the C wave on that top there. So I know as a corrective pattern, and it may not even be a wave 4, it could be something else, but I know that as a corrective pattern, if this top here is taken out, then we're definitely going higher from that point. So that's the good news. In terms of counting it differently here, we can look at, I think, the 4-hour chart. I've been counting to the upside in both counts here as wave A, B, and C here as a corrective move, but also wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and then wave 1 here and wave 2 here. And I'm just looking for a correction here because, you know, the classic trading levels pattern, we've got a level here is normally the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level in 5 waves, and then an A and a B and a C pattern here. And then we normally, look to go in on these highs here. Any of these new highs would do the trick, and that's what I'm looking for here because we got the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level. So I'm looking for an A and a B and a C correction here. And then we can move in across here and so on and so on. So that's what I'm looking for there. So what I want to do is move past this possible A, B, and C correction here. So taking out that top would do that. that's what I'm waiting for on that one, because that will take us higher. So basically CBA and BHP are two big elephants in the resource and the finance sector. We don't have many other, big weighted sectors as such. Technology is coming along quite nicely, great tech stocks developing now. But these are the two really that are the sort of we can use as indicators really. All right, let's just move on to Hong Kong. So with Hong Kong in the bigger picture here as well, it's got pretty much the same sort of pattern as the Australian market as well. From the GFC perspective here, and also to here I want to get past a corrective point here as well. So what I want to explain here is that it's possible to have wave 3 over here, and then an A wave here, then an A and a B and a C wave here for the B wave up here, and then down for the C wave here. So it's possible, and then this would make wave 1 coming down, wave 2 here, and then we would see wave 1 and 2 here and 3, because when we look in here, this move down through here came to the 61.8% mark. This is a weekly chart, and then up to here for the retracement to 61.8%, and it's probably moved down to this one here in the same light here as well. Yep, right on this 61.8% mark here. So it's really bouncing around these 61.8% marks here. And what I'm waiting for now is that it's retraced back up to here, to the 61. So in a way, we could look at this as wave 1 coming down here. So wave 1 coming down. And then we've got wave 2 here. And then wave 1 and wave 2 to the 61.8% mark here, and then 3, 4 and 5, so that will make up the third wave here. So that's really possible, but if this moves up too far up through here, then we're not going to have that bearish move. It's kind of like a do or die situation for this market. So I've just been waiting for this to top out here, and yeah, I'm quite happy to short this market, but we need evidence on that. So we'd need to see the first impulse wave to the downside here and back up, and then we can start moving in. Yeah, so it's really on a critical point here. I mean, Hong Kong politically is, trying to be, dominated by China. So, that alone could cause this to crash. I don't know about, I'm just a pattern man, but it's nice to look at the story that fits the picture, I guess. But so yeah, I don't know. It's just this critical point here, that's all. So on the hourly chart, just coming in and focusing in on that corrective rally, I might just go to the 4-hour chart here first. So on that corrective rally here, we know that we've come down 61.8% to here. We know that we've come back up to the 61.8% here. And if I counted that up there, that would be the A wave, the B wave, and then 5 waves here for the C wave here. So it's really quite possible that we've got a top in play here, and we can move down from that point. If we were going to go long from here, then I would use the classic trade, because this is a little bit messy here, but I think that we've got 5 waves in here. But the normal thing too is that if we're going to push higher, then we have the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level that we don't chase, and we allow that to come back. And then that gives us our reference point here, and then we can go long from that point. So that's what I'm waiting for here. If we're going to go to the downside here, then I need to see a nice clear 5-wave structure to the downside here. Once we've got 5 waves here, then we're going to get a counter trend back up in 3, and then we can go short from this point here. So like I said, I want this to resolve itself here, and then we'll know where we are. So we've gone from a real big picture down into, quite a small picture on the 1-hour chart if we look at this little section here. So from wave B here to wave C here, we're counting it as 1 and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here, and then counting 5 waves up here. This is just a little bit messy for me. I don't know if I've got this right here. So, I mean, even from, yeah, look, it's just a little bit messy. Even wave 5 here, if I had to count, it'd be 1 and 2 and 3 here, an A and a B and a C for 4, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, making this new high here for the 5th wave here. I mean, it's messy as hell, so I don't really know, but I just want to give it more time, you know. So let's just see how that unfolds there. I have no trade for that particular point at this stage. And India. So, yeah, I'm sort of stuck in this wave 4 business here. So if we just look at this for a moment, so we've got wave 3 here. We've got a nice A, B, and C here for this down here. It could also be counted as an A and a B and a C to this point, and we come down for wave 4 here because we haven't pulled back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree or the 38.2% retracement level, which is about here somewhere. So it's possible that this has still got to play out as a large A, B, and C here. As I mentioned before, if the 12,000 becomes a nice tested support, once again, the classic trading levels pattern, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, then this scenario, then getting back up on there and going up, and this is what we would look for there. But we're just not there yet, and this can fail from this particular point here. It's possible for it to move up there, and in that case we just really have this, move this here for the A wave here, B wave here, and a C wave coming down to this little space here with wave 4 sitting there already on this low here. So I'll just leave that there and put these back. So I know that I can have this as an A and a B and a C here for the A wave, and then an A and a an A, B, and C here. I know it's short, but yeah. So I have to wait for these 5 waves to play out, and counting these 5 waves here is also really messy as well. I think there's one more little high to go here, but you know, from counting this, I've got this in a bullish pattern here, but don't worry about that. But counting 5 waves from here up to here, the best fit I've got is 1 and 2 here and 3 here, and 4 here really overlaps this one here. So you know, it could also be wave 1 here, wave 2 here, then wave 1 and wave 2 of a different degree and building higher. But if I count from wave 4 here to wave 5 here, then we've got that little spike in the middle there, which is a little bit annoying, but I would count this as 1 and 2 here and 3 here, and wave 4 into here or to here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So there's still further upside. So I'm still looking for the first high above the level. Once we got that first high above the level, then we can have our long trade from that point, because we'll have that reference point there, and we'll get some sort of ABC pattern here. But then if it pushes up, well, then we can go long from that point. But otherwise, we just have to be, you know, we just have to be a little bit patient. But we should push up a little bit further here. But I'm not worried about that. I just want this pattern to unfold and play out into a trade setup. Alrighty, sorry for a long video. Just wanted to cover a little bit more ground. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the support, and enjoy the weekend. Cheers.